Welcome to Morning Coffee right here on the Radio Vision Network. I am Mark Hook, and I am pumped because we got to talk about something important. All right, look, it's a Friday morning. We're feeling the fall, baby. It's cool out there, and look, after that yesterday warm up, it was like 80 degrees. I flipped my air conditioner back on, but today we're cooling back down. We're in November, and what happens in November besides this election that is going to destroy us all? It's Veterans Day, and we got to talk about Veterans Day because it's one of the most important holidays of the year. And I have a fantastic charity joining me right now. Two lovely ladies sitting right to my right. I have Jody and I have Pat, and they are from All Vets USA. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Morning Coffee.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Thank you for having us.
You're quite welcome. So let's talk about All Vets USA because this is a new charity. We're celebrating our year anniversary, which is really, really exciting. And All Vets USA obviously focuses on veteran services and all sorts of different programs and events and things that are all for veterans and their families. And I want to talk about, let's talk about kind of the beginning. How did this all get started? Let's talk about that, then we'll talk about what we're doing, and then we'll talk about how we get involved and all that stuff. We're going to cover all the bases here. So let's start at the top. How did this all get started?
Okay. When I was a little girl, my father's a Korean War vet. I love him dearly. And when I was a little girl, I'm one of three children. There's three of us. I have two brothers. And but when I was a little girl, my father used to. It was a routine. He would come home from work, and he would flip on Merv Griffin, and he would make himself a Manhattan. And my mother would be cooking. My brothers usually were upstairs playing, and I would be sitting next to him, and he had that cherry in the I don't know if you're familiar with the Manhattan.
Of course.
There's always that cherry there.
Yeah.
And he would sit down together, and he would he told me that when I finished the drink, you can have the cherry. But during the what did I have to endure? I had to endure beautiful stories. He would tell me wonderful stories. He was so proud of being of having, as he said, volunteered for the Army. He was so proud, and quite honestly, it was worth every minute waiting for that cherry because he, through his beautiful stories, he was in an elite unit called KCAC in the Korean War, and he used to boast about having their own general. And here I was a little girl, I just would watch war movies, and not really know what it meant at the time, 6 or 7 years old. But his passion was, to hear him speak like that, he just imparted such a wealth of let's say passion, for the military and for his service and for volunteering and for his country. And so I knew that I wanted to do something, and it's a little bit of him and me.
It's so beautiful. I mean, I feel like I need to do something now. I mean, just hearing you talk about it, it's awe-inspiring is really what it is. I mean, because look, as a young girl, you can't necessarily comprehend all of probably the large themes that he was talking about, but what it did was spur this kind of passion in you because he bestowed it, onto you, to kind of keep that pride in American military and service for our country. And a volunteerism that you talked about that look, a lot of people don't understand the scenario is that you're a volunteer pretty much until you get drafted. And then once you're drafted, that's when you get thrust into the service side of things. And let's talk, Pat, because you are a veteran yourself and
Yes.
you've experienced this. You've lived through it. So let's talk about how All Vets USA kind of takes what Jody's vision was into practice for veterans like yourself.
Well, it's great. This organization is great. We help different things. We've helped give service dogs to veterans with PTSD. We've helped them for horse therapy. And it's just great. I served for 20 years. I'm out now, I'm retired. But
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. It was great. It was a great experience. I never regretted it. I loved every minute. I've got to do many things. I've traveled to 27 states. I've fast roped on a helicopter.
Oh,
I
cool.
worked with Marine Recon and Navy SEALs. So it was great experiences. But a lot of people, when they come out, I have 2 years active duty and the rest are reserve time.
Right.
But when you come out, a lot of people need help. They don't know where to go, especially if you've been active duty and that's all you've ever done.
Right.
Like we were talking earlier, once you take off the uniform, it's like, well, who am I? What do I do now?
Right.
You know, everybody told you what to do before. You knew what you had to do.
Yeah, and I think that people are a little misled because, you know, you assume, well, in 2016, and we've had all this military action for the last 16 years and all this stuff, like, you think that, oh, it's automatic when they come back. Everything is good. They get into this program. They get all the help they need. They get, right? And that is not the case at all, folks.
No.
Not even close.
No.
And that's kind of like the misconception because a lot of people think, like, all right, well, we've got all these different charities and programs and all this stuff in place, but we're sure that those guys are taken care of. But the real crux of it is that it's not. It's not taken care of. So where does all VETS USA kind of fit into that picture?
When you have an unacceptable and an alarming statistic of one suicide an hour.
Yes.
Think
22 a day. Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, we hear statistics, we hear numbers, but do you ever put those numbers together with the actions and the thoughts that go behind that? And to think about how lonely and sad they are, you know, when they come back, that they feel they have to take their own life.
It is one of the most terrible tragedies that we experience in our landscape or our environment, however you want to talk about it. Because look, we're asking these brave men and women to go sacrifice and put their lives on the line, and when they come back, to not have the support that they need or someone to talk to or a way to outlet all of what's been built up inside of them by serving. This is a really dangerous scenario, and that's where we get the numbers that Jody is talking about, because it's a dangerous proposition to not support the people that are supporting us. I mean, a lot of times our men and women in service, they're not asking to be put on the front lines, but they do it without equivocation or question or any sort of apprehension. And that's where all VETS USA kind of fits in. It's when it's a support system, but it's a unique support system, and that's what I like about it, is because you guys are almost like the big umbrella. You're celebrating a very recent benchmark for the charity, and that's the 501c3 accreditation. Blah, 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 blah.
Status.
Right. Status. That's much easier for me to say. And this is a really big deal, because this makes sure that everyone knows out there that every dollar that you give in is a charitable donation. It can be written off on your taxes if you're worried about that sort of thing. But it also means that they're being watched now by the people that need to make sure that everything that you guys are doing is what it's actually supposed to be doing. And that's kind of a cool thing, because the way all VETS USA works is you guys are like the umbrella, and then there's all these other little like smaller charities, and I didn't mean to say it like that, they're not all very small, but varying sizes of charities underneath your umbrella is where you distribute and help. You guys, yeah, and this is really cool. We're up against our first break here, but if you just talk about that kind of dynamic for a quick second.
Well, we're all volunteer. The board, lovely individuals. 3 of them are veterans, and the rest just have huge hearts, or have had somebody in their family like myself that have just left an incredible impression and passion, you know, for wanting to help veterans. So what we do is, you know, there's 2 processes to being charitable. And there's those that actually we've talked about. There's those that, you know, boots on the ground, on the playing field. They get out there on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, and they're giving coats, or they're giving food, and they're preparing meals, and incredibly generous giving. But there's another kind that's needed, and that is, there are those that don't have the time perhaps or the ability, but they can help, and they can donate. They can write checks. They can be charitable. And that's where we decided our focus was going to be, that we were going to take our passion and our belief in the mission and in the desire to help veterans. And in particular, there are so many veteran service providing organizations that do incredible work.
Right.
but they need to be found, they need to be recognized for what they do, and they need to be supported.
Financially, right.
Financially.
Right.
And so we get a voice. That's exactly it. Thank you, Pat. And we want to be that voice. We want to be able to, to use whatever it takes to raise funds, to get out there and
help.
And help, and to know that we're a group of people aboard, and we're looking for volunteers, which we'll talk about that. But we're a group of people that want to raise funds to find these organizations and to donate to them. They don't have the tools or the manpower.
Right.
You can't do both.
Right.
You can't necessarily go out there and do everything you need. We've done site visits to organizations where they're preparing meals and the veterans are so gracious and they're so appreciative.
Oh, yeah.
But these are people that fought for us.
Yeah.
And they've lost lives and limbs.
Yeah.
And they've endured incomprehensible, unfathomable amounts
Right,
of
and they're
emotional
thanking
pain.
you, right? And it's just
We're
like,
not-
wait,
we're
what?
not- We're nothing.
Yeah.
We're nothing.
Yeah.
We
I
look
get
at
it.
ourselves as we're just a vehicle, a means to give back to, what do they say, they've got your back? It's time that we have their backs.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I mean that. I'm not
Yeah.
just giving lip service here. And that's why we're doing this, and we're young. We're just starting out.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part is that you can get involved with All Vets USA kind of at the ground floor, right at the beginning, and that's a really cool thing. And like I mentioned, I'm up against a break, so I'm going to take a commercial break now. But here's what you're going to do before that. You're on the internet, right? You're either on your phone or your computer or something. So you obviously had to open a browser to get here. Open another tab right now and go to allvetsusa.org. On allvetsusa.org, you're going to get all of the information about All Vets USA. You're going to find the mission statement. You're going to find what they're all about. You're going to find their event calendar. You're going to find ways to donate. And you're also going to find access to their social media sites, which are going to give you all the pictures and videos and all of the stuff that you need to see them in action. So, again, open up another tab right there. allvetsusa.org. Go check them out right now. We're going to take a quick break. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more to Jody and Pat about All Vets USA. Stay right there on the Radio Vision Network.
High-achieving students. Internationally renowned faculty. And award-winning alumni. A 226-year history of excellence and a beautiful urban campus. The University of Pittsburgh.
Solano Community College transformed my life.
And gave me the opportunities I needed to succeed.
I received the same university caliber education
Without the pressures of debt holding me back. Affordable and flexible. I fulfilled my undergraduate classes.
getting to the information I truly have a passion for,
The decision to attend SCC empowered my future.
and made my dream of attending Yale University a reality. Solano Community College, the educated choice.
Graduates of our university end up going places. Same goes for our students. Because while our campus may be a launch pad for bigger and better things, it's also a prime destination filled with sights, sounds, and some pretty good eats. So, while you're preparing to take on the world is right outside your door. Wayne State University. Aim high.
We've been a VIP pet care.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee right here on the Radio Vision Network. So glad you joined us this morning. Thank you, kiddo. We appreciate it. So we're talking to All Vets USA. I've got Jody and Pat here, and I just love what you guys are doing. It's so amazing because, look, our veterans need to be supported, and everybody, I don't think there's anybody that's going to say, we shouldn't support our veterans. Those people, we push them away because they're just ridiculous, and we want to support our veterans, and I think what you guys are doing is just absolutely fantastic because we kind of talked a little bit about the scenario before is that there's so many charities and different organizations out there that are doing so much good work, but they need to be supported, and that's where All Vets USA comes in. You guys are kind of like mom and dad. You come in there and you're like, all right, kids, we're going to make sure that you guys got everything taken care of. We're going to treat as much money as we can. We're going to retrieve as much supplies as we can. And all of our people are volunteering all of their time and talent and effort. And once we get whatever you guys need, then we're going to redistribute it back to you. And that's really, really a cool dynamic that you have going on over there. Now, I know you sent over some pictures, and I wanted to show some of these pictures, and you guys can see them right down there on my little preview monitor.
That's Ashley.
That's Ashley.
She's the secretary on our board. Lovely girl.
Beautiful smile on Ashley. She looks so happy to be there, and that looks like she's working a table at one of your events or something.
We had a car show last year, and it was a lovely car show, and we had our board was there, and we had volunteers there, and lots of people came out, and it was just really very highly supported by the newspaper there, and this Bucks County event.
Cool. That's really cool. And listen, this is a good time. We're talking about events, and Brianna, if you just throw it back to us real quick. So I want to talk about an event that's happening tomorrow night, folks. Okay. So today is November. It's the 4th. Sorry, it's been a long couple days. So on November 5th. At Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard. It's your favorite Chicky and Pete's because it's right there on Roosevelt Boulevard, right? All Vets USA is doing an amazing event. The tickets are $35 at the door. You're just going to need to show up there. Pat, what time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, $35 gets you in the door. But we've got a nice little thing for you, okay? If you mention Radio Vision when you get to the door, your ticket's going to be $30. Or if you go to the website and pre-register, you're also going to pay $30. So there's a nice way for people to save $5. And I want people to understand that, look, you're saving $5 for the event, but really you can just give them the extra $5 because it's going back. It's going back to the charity. It's not like that $5 is going in your pocket. So I urge you to get there, pay the ticket, and then whatever above that you can give. We really urge you to do that. But go to the Facebook page to get all the information on this. There's something going on the website that it's going to be easier for you to go to Facebook. Just at the top there in the search bar, just do All Vets USA. I guarantee you, because I already did it, you won't even get it all the way typed out before it comes up. It comes up right away. It's really, and all the information is there, and you're not going to miss it. And again, that's Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard. On November 5th at 7 o'clock, you want to get over there for an All Vets USA event, and they're going to have music and games and all sorts of information about the charity, and you're just going to want to get out there and check it out. And if I didn't have a show tomorrow night, I would be there. So here's the deal, folks. Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard on November 5th. So, sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to throw you off there, but let's go back to the picture that you had thrown up. And this looks like another one of your events. And Jody, is that I can't, the monitor's a little far. Is that you?
That is in our All Vets USA t-shirts, which if anybody would like one, they can.
Tomorrow night. They can get one tomorrow night. That's awesome.
And challenge coins.
And who is the young man?
That's a name, Mr. Saletta. He was, we met him that day. We had some wonderful people show up. I love veterans.
And that's what it's all about. Well,
just friendly.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about people and helping the people that help us, right? I mean, it's a very cyclical thing, or at least it should be, right? The ideal dynamic is that it works in a nice big circle here. They're protecting us and our America's interests, and we're going to help them and thank them and appreciate them in every way that we can. And one of the ways that we can do that is monetarily. Another way we can do that is volunteering our time and our efforts and our talents, and a kind word may even go further than you know people may realize. So these are all things that All Vets USA are geared towards making happen for the veteran and their families, and it's just such a cool thing. So I know I have a couple more here. So all right, whoa. So now, what am I looking at here? This looks like a coat drive. That looks like 1 million coats that you guys collected.
In the background there is my partner, and co-founder.
That's Randy, right?
That's Randy.
Okay.
He's a Vietnam War vet.
We want to give a big shout out to Randy because he is like you said, he's a veteran, and he is the co-founder of the charity.
Co-founder.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Randy. Thank you for all of your hard work and everything that you've been doing. And this just goes to show that the guy at the top is right there with everybody else, just making sure that the coats and the donations are where they need to go, where they need to be. And
we managed. We put this together because, like I said, it was done quickly.
Right.
We were so overwhelmed with the generosity, and we learned because a lot of people were doing coat collections at that time.
Right.
But people wanted to get to the veterans. So, and we had coats that were like brand new that were.
And we're having another coat drive.
And we're having another coat drive, and we raised so many. We put them in Randy's. He has a business out in Feasterville, and we just drove them over. Another veteran helped us out on the board, and Al, and we're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's awesome. And look, folks, this time of year is the time of year where charities really, they have the I don't want to say this the right way. I don't want any angry tweets or angry letters, but the holidays is when a lot of the charities, they get an abundance of stuff, and it's like people are so generous around the holidays, and we appreciate that so much. Everybody really, they appreciate all of the donations and everything that happens during the holidays, but I mean, this is a year-round thing, and that's what people really need to understand is that a lot of what you're donating during the holiday season is what is carrying through for the rest of the year, and the more you give now is the more it's going to help all of these organizations throughout the entire year, and it's important to make sure that you're giving to the right charities and the right places, and it's not just a monetary thing with All Vets USA. They're constantly looking for volunteers. I mean, let's talk about that for a second, because there are a lot of people out there that want to be able to help, and they want to be able to make a difference, and they have the time, but they may not have the money. There's a place for them with All Vets USA.
Absolutely. And that's actually how I met Pat.
Okay.
And I'm writing a book on volunteerism.
Oh, cool.
I am, if I may say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why.
I'm going to put it on my Amazon hot list. Get it on the hot list there, Kindle.
And I'm not here to talk about that, but I'm
Right.
here to talk about how it connects to, with my father and his stories, and his proud volunteerism. It left an impression on me.
Well, it's a legacy. It's a legacy of volunteerism that you want to be able to pass on and make sure that the world knows kind of your story and how it came from a Korean War veteran, and that 60 years later we're still fulfilling his mission of what he wanted to achieve with his life and his goals and all of those things. It's fantastic. I encourage you to finish this book and get it out as soon as possible.
The book, you said something really perfect, and that was, it is his legacy, really. It's not mine.
Right.
I'm just putting his words and everything that he imparted to me and taught me. I'm trying to put it out there, and that the proceeds are going to be going towards All Vets USA.
Oh, that's what makes it so special. It's amazing, and it's just another good reason to want to support All Vets USA, because not only do they handle all of the supplies and the monetary donations and the distribution of all of those things, but in kind of a bigger sense, they're trying to understand the dynamic of what it means to be a volunteer on all different levels, whether it's for military service and defending America, or if it's volunteering in a charitable scenario and giving up of your time and your talents and your efforts to help others. It's a simple message, but it sometimes gets lost on everybody, and maybe a step back or a reconnection to what really matters will go a long way to building up some of these charities. Now, I have to take another break really quickly. So we'll do that. We'll take this quick break and then we'll come back. We'll put everything in a nice little box. We'll put a little bow on it. We'll tie it up. We'll wrap it up. We'll ship it out, and we'll make sure that.
Talk about Pat's story.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yes,
her volunteering story is amazing.
Get into that and talk a little bit more about All Vets USA. So we're going to take another quick break here on Morning Coffee, but you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay right here with us on the Radio Vision Network. Stick around.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Solano Community College transformed my life.
And gave me the opportunities I needed to succeed.
I received the same university caliber education
Without the pressures of debt holding me back. Affordable and flexible, I fulfilled my undergraduate classes.
getting to the information I truly have a passion for,
The decision to attend SCC empowered my future.
and made my dream of attending Yale University a reality.
High-achieving students. Internationally renowned faculty. And award-winning alumni. A 226-year history of excellence and a beautiful urban campus. The University of Pittsburgh.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee here on the Radio Vision Network. I'm getting my notes whispered into my ear as I come back from break. Jody wants me to make sure to tell everybody that, look, even if you can't make the event tomorrow night at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard, if you buy tickets, it's just the same as a donation. That you can write it off and you can give the tickets to somebody else to come to the event. Maybe you've got a veteran in your neighborhood or a family member that would like to come and check out what All Vets USA does. Buy the tickets, hand them off, and you know, you can take the ride off and they can go to the event. It's kind of a win-win for both of you. So you know, as much as I told Jody to say, hey, look, we're coming back from break, just give me 1 second, I needed to make sure that we got that information out there because it's important.
Gotta have a voice, right?
That's right. That's right.
All for the veterans.
Well, and you talk about having a voice and it being all for the veterans. And Pat, I wanted to talk a little bit about your story because it is a fantastic one, and it's really why you're involved with All Vets USA. So why don't you just kind of give us a little bit of your background?
Well, I served in the military. The first 16 years were in the Marines. I finished my last 4 in the Air Force. And I joined later than most people. I was 28 when I enlisted, 29 when I went down to boot camp. So that was considered very old.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was there, I used to volunteer for Toys for Tots.
Okay.
And that is how I met my husband, volunteering for Toys for Tots.
Cool. What a great program that is, too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that's
fabulous.
awesome. We
Because a
love
lot of
that.
those children, it was just, I actually worked both ends in the warehouse, but we used to love the events where we actually worked with the kids.
You saw it in action.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to be at an event like that, and
Yes.
maybe I could get to an event at All Vets USA where you see it in action, because that really is where I imagine the tears and the emotion and the feelings that come out of some of those events and those meetings.
It's great.
It's overwhelming.
I volunteer now. I teach yoga at the Delaware Valley Veterans Home on Southampton Road in Philadelphia.
Cool.
And that's great. And some of the stories I was getting, I called Jody the very next day and I said, oh my gosh, you've got to interview this. There are 3 women, there are many women, but 3 that I've met. One was in the Coast Guard, one was in the Navy, one was in the Army, and the other one, when I first started going, I started going in the summer. And I teach at nights a couple times a month now. And the one woman started speaking to me the other day, and it was just amazing.
Wow.
You know, I asked her what branch she was in. She said I was a WAC. She told me a wonderful story that, you know, She worked in a warehouse, and the pilot came up to her and her friends one day and said, how would you like to fly in a plane? And she said, I would love it. She said, well, we didn't tell our bosses, so they were UA. So as soon as they got off the plane, the MPs were waiting for them, and she lost her stripe.
Oh,
it was just amazing. I had to stop
That's
talking to her.
crazy, yeah.
Yes, it's just amazing the stories they have.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. Now, I know that it was kind of a special way that you got hooked up with Jody and All Vets USA. So how did that come about?
We met by accident. We were both at a health fair for other reasons, and I was wearing a jacket that said Marines and a hat that said Marines, and Jody asked me,
"Can I plug you away?"
Are you the Marine? I said, yes, I am. And so she started telling me about our organization, and we started talking.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It really is cool, and I want to make sure, again, that we get all the information out there for everybody. You're going to want to check out allvetsusa.org. That is the main portal, the main website for the charity. You're going to get all of the information there from soup to nuts, right? You're going to get the about, you're going to get the mission statement, you're going to meet the board of directors and all the people involved in it. You're going to find ways to donate your money, your time, your supplies, anything that you would need. Your events calendar is up there. There's so much stuff on there that if you just go to All Vets USA, I urge you to do it now. Just open another tab and go there and check it out now. But you're going to need to do a couple other things. Look, I'm not trying to put you to work, but this is easy stuff, okay? When you're on Facebook, just search out All Vets USA, and really, I want to drive some traffic to the Facebook page, because the event that's happening tomorrow on November 5th, all of that information is up at the Facebook page. It's at Chicky and Pizza on the Boulevard tomorrow night on November 5th at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $35 at the door. If you pre-register or mention Radio Vision at the door, they're going to be $30, so you're going to want to take advantage of that. Another thing I want to mention really quick, and you're going to repeat all this information very momentarily as I ask you to look into the camera and do that, but I just wanted to make sure that we get it out and that everybody understands that. Look, when you go to the website, allvetsusa.org, there's a little Donate Now button on there. And I want you to click that button, and I want you to donate $7. That's it. That's all I'm asking you for. $7. Everybody can most people can afford $7 for a great cause, and you're going to feel good. And then you could say, and you don't have to tell anybody the amount, but you could say, oh, and yeah, I donated to this great new charity for Veterans Day, and feel good about it, and take the pats on the back and all that stuff, and all for $7. $7. Donate it now to All Vets USA. That's all we're asking for. Why $7? Why not? It's a number that's manageable. It's more than 5, but it's less than 10. So we went with 7. 7's the number, man. It's from that movie. 7 little twirly birds sitting on a branch, right? Forget it. Something about Mary, I think that was. But $7. Donate it now. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming in and telling me about All Vets USA. I think that this is fantastic. I wish you the best of luck. But we've come to the time, my favorite time of the show, where I'm going to have you looking at that camera right over there, and I just want you to say anything you want to say. I urge it to be about All Vets USA. But the time is yours. Whatever you would like.
I'm just going to say something real fast. With respect to my dad and giving, what impresses me the most is wherever I go with my father, and he wears his Korean War hat, everybody thanks him. Everybody thanks him for his service. And I think it's so important that parents teach their children to be respectful and to thank them. They don't understand. They've got to put together, the thanking and what they're thanking them for.
Right.
And that's where the disconnect is. And Pat and I were talking on the way down here, and we really want to give a voice to women veterans. We didn't get an opportunity to really cover that today, but that's something that's so important. I mean, there's so many aspects.
Right.
PTSD, but women veterans. And Pat was saying something to me when I interviewed her, and she was saying that when she goes places and she wears hers, she'll tell you. She tell what they say.
Whenever I'm dressed, especially if I'm wearing something that says Marines, people always, the first thing out of their mouth 9 times out of 10 is your husband or son a Marine.
Right.
He wears something, right away they thank him. Hoorah, Semper Fi.
Right. You wear something, and it's a question.
Yes.
Right. Well, is it really you, or is
Yes.
it? And you know what? Look, we're going to need to come back, and we're going to need to talk a little bit more about that. But I want to talk about that right now. We're not kicking out of here. I want to talk about this for a little bit because this is important, and it's important to understand that charities like All Vets USA, they are supporting all veterans. Unequivocally, they are supporting all veterans. But you know, as we're learning in our society and in our landscape, kind of in a bigger picture thing, is we need to understand the dynamic that women are treated differently. It's just how it is. And part of Jody's mission as a member of the League of Women Voters for so many years, and then the president for a short time, is that's a real important aspect to what you do at All Vets USA. And that you female veterans out there are not lost in the mix. You are so special to all of us, and we appreciate everything that you do. And in a weird way, I want to apologize to you for that happening, because it shouldn't happen. And the same amount of respect should be given to every man or woman that fights for our country and serves the American people. And it's important to understand that is a big piece of All Vets USA's mission.
Yeah. Recognizing everybody and thanking them and being grateful.
Yeah.
Everyone can do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's time or money, like you said, everyone can do something.
Yeah, and this is the time, folks. This is where I want you to get involved. I'm going to say it again real quickly. allvetsusa.org. They have an event tomorrow, November 5th, at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard in Philadelphia. Get over there. The tickets are $35 at the door. They're $30 if you pre-register or mention Radio Vision at that door. I want you to go to the website again and donate $7.
And
please.
If the link isn't working because we've had some technical
Just
problems,
come out.
and we need some volunteers for technical for our website.
There you go. If anybody knows,
Volunteer, baby.
seriously, if anybody has any web skills that they're willing to donate to a veterans charity, All Vets USA could use a little bit of support on the back end of the website. They appreciate that. Just send them an email. I believe it's info@allvetsusa.org. Just send them an email if you think you can help. Honestly, it's only going to take you a couple hours, and problems are not that big, but they definitely don't have the budget to really bring in the professional that they would need. So if you can help them out with that, just send an email to info@allvetsusa.org. Anything else that I missed?
Come out. Come
Come
out.
out.
Have fun.
Do
Come
your
out.
best.
Have fun.
And
For a
if you
great
can't,
cause.
and if you can't, donate something if you can, and buy the tickets if you can, and give them to somebody.
Yeah, that's a great call.
That's just so important.
Drop them off at a fire station or police station. They deserve
Awesome.
It's
some
about
of
it's about the organization. It's about veterans.
That's great. I totally agree. And listen, remember our veterans on Veterans Day, and an easy way to do that is go to allvetsusa.org and get involved. There's so many different ways you can get involved. Just do it, okay?
Let's do it.
Pat, Jody, thank you so much for
Thank you
spending
so
a few
much.
minutes
Yeah,
with me on Morning
thank
Coffee. I
you.
really appreciate it. I got to take another quick break here on the Radio Vision Network, but don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to be right back. Stick around.
Thank you.
Graduates of our university end up going places. Same goes for our students. Because while our campus may be a launch pad for bigger and